Well, I think as Ambassador Galbraith said, we see you as more than simply an ally, but a friend. We have common interests in the region. Uh, in the fight against ISIS, it was instrumental for the Peshmerga to be a success in the fight against ISIS. We share many, many common interests, particularly those of hosting the U.S. forces who would be unable to continue their fight against ISIS in Syria without the assistance of Kurdistan. Oh, no, I don't think they're different at all. Partners have shared interests, allies have shared friendships. And it's not simply a matter of having similar interess, but the relationship we have with Kurdistan goes well deeper than just a transactional relationship, which is interests, to a partnership, which is transactions and friendship. Well, I think we would support Kurdistan in the context of federal Iraq, all of Iraq. If Iraq was threatened, of course, the United States would be there to assist, as they were in 2014 when the country, federal Iraq, was about to fall to ISIS. They came within 20 miles of Baghdad, and had it not been for the support of the United States and other armed actors, it could have had a significant effect on the status of the country. I don't think that we would be involved in a dispute between Erbil and Baghdad, but certainly if there was a threat to all of Iraq, the United States would be there to support. I'm sorry, what word were you using there? Ah, it is certainly the case that the United States is working with the forces up in Erbil to provide them defensive capabilities, whether that has been rifles, whether that has been vehicles. It's also included some of the salaries for the armed forces up in Kurdistan. So certainly. Well, the United States has, for the last few years, specifically uh, detailed plans that include support in for the Peshmerga forces and the military forces in Kurdistan. However, uh, the money is given to the federal Iraq, not given directly to Erbil. So I don't think that the United States will actually be doing direct payments to Erbil, but they will continue to work through Iraq in Baghdad to get those payments designated. Now, of course, once that money gets into Iraq, it is the sovereign right of the federal government to make a decision on how it is spent. Now, the United States could certainly suspend those payments uh, if it's not delivered to the to Erbil, but I think that at this point, the United States has not been willing to take that step. Well, the United States, if it designates support, material support, trucks, armored vehicles, weapons, if it is designated for for the Kurdistan, of course, the United States is going to insist that Baghdad provides it to Erbil. On the other hand, if that doesn't happen, I think the United States will continue to apply pressure and could potentially restrict dollar for dollar future support to Baghdad unless that is released to Erbil. I don't think there is the diplomatic will inside of Washington to do that yet. But with the prime minister visiting Washington, that could certainly be a significant issue he brings up to the members of Congress and the members of the State Department, the DoD, and other executive branch agencies to see if that could be pushed forward. I certainly don't have any inside information, but I would expect that he will meet important members of Congress. He could very well meet significant leadership inside the State Department and the Department of Defense. He could even talk to the Treasury Department, which is something that I would recommend since there's still some outstanding issues there with regards to dollar flows going from Kurdistan to Iran. Uh, but I don't specifically know those names, but those would be the organizations and the people that I would recommend he visits while he's here. Well, I would also note that there remains the issue of disputed territories as well. Uh, I think it's important to recognize what was said by President Trump in his recent speech in Riyadh. He took a new approach that I think all parties in Iraq should be conscious towards, which is that the United States no longer sees itself as influencing the internal affairs of a sovereign country, which is the case with Iraq. Whether this is true or not, that would indicate that the instructions to the embassy and the consulate in Erbil from the State Department, consistent with that speech, would actually be to do less rather than more. I personally hope that is not the case. I would not want to see a power like China or Russia become more influential inside of Iraq and Kurdistan because it plays the moderator role, but we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. Well, I would say, and I say this with the greatest amount of friendship and respect, one of the problems is that oil sales are still happening up in Erbil and the region. Unfortunately, it's being sold to Iran. And that, of course, is a major policy difference that we have with what's happening in Erbil. So I think, look, everybody would like to see the oil dispute solved. But the way to solve it is not by engaging in illegal acts in terms of violating sanctions with Iran. So it would be best for everyone if that situation and that dispute was rectified. And I would hope that even despite the speech of President Trump in Riyadh, he would understand that the Americans do have influence in resolving this issue and that he would send his best negotiators to talk to both sides, Erbil and Baghdad, about this very, very important issue.